Hey, welcome to Milo's Home Bike Shop. We've got the project bike set up, and we've got some new brakes. Bought these on Amazon. I'll put the link down below in the description, and I'll even show you a picture of it so you can see what you're getting. And let's replace some brakes. Okay, so here's everything it comes with. New cables, the arms, the rubber pieces to protect the cable, 2 new noodles, 4 new mounting bolts, and at first what I thought was an extra adjustment screw and or nut and bolt, but then I realized there isn't one on this one, so it's not an extra one, it just needs to go into this. But there you have it. This is a set for both the front and the back, and of course the set I got had 2 sets, so I haven't even broken into the other set yet. I have no need to right now. So that's what you get in this package. So now it's just a matter of getting the old brakes off and starting our work. Since the new brakes come with new cables, we get a chance to be a little bit destructive here. So first off, get to cut the cable. Now after that, 5mm wrench. Oh, a little tight in there. See if I can get it. There we go. Probably be a lot easier if I'd taken the wheel off, but there was tension on that brake, so it was holding it. So, okay. So that's now off. And of course, it's pretty frozen up on there. Let's get that adjusting screw. Maybe that has a little bit to do with it. That's what I'm looking for. I gotta move around here so I don't knock the camera over. Once you get that out of the way completely. And there we go. We got half of it off. The other side is going to be the same way. Okay, so off camera, I took off the other side and I took off the wheel. So it's just a matter of putting everything back on it now. So I put all my parts that I need in the tray, except for one thing. Let me grab it real quick. Okay, we're going to put some grease on these the arms for this. And to be quite honest with you, I do like the Park Tools products. This is the PPL one. I use it for everything. Bearing repacks on the wheels, seat tubes. Well, anything you need to put grease, this stuff works great. Not that I'm promoting them or sponsored by them. That would be nice though. But we're gonna get some grease on there. Okay. Set that aside. One basic shop tool you should always have on hand, I forgot about. Paper towels or rags. You got to have those. Oh. Being it's a portable stand, you got to kind of check it every once in a while, make sure it doesn't get a little tippy on you. Okay. Now on the new, you'll see that there's a pin and that there's 3 pinholes. So you just got to make sure that they're lined up, because that's what gives it its tension on that spring. And then with the new washer and a new nut, and they also happen to be 5mm. I checked those off camera because I didn't want to look stupid having to go get another Allen wrench. And we can see it's moving nicely. And we get that tightened up there. Oh, and this is the one that I forgot to put the nut and adjustment screw in. So let me go get those. Now, just so you know, I'm doing this in Mesa, Arizona, and oddly enough, it's starting to get warm out. Yes, February, and it's getting warm. Well, oh, I guess what we consider warm, other places would consider outrageous. But it's supposed to be in the 80s today, in February. So you just imagine what it's going to be like in the summer. That is kind of why I moved over into the shade here. And need to move my table closer with all my tools on it. Of course, everybody knows that, you know, good YouTubers never forget anything. They don't make mistakes. But you know what? Sometimes in the home shops, we make mistakes. Okay, so the adjustment screws in. That's all set. And it's just a matter of putting the other side on. Of course, we're going to turn these so that they're right, but we can get to that in a little bit. Okay, so I was just getting ready to replace the cable starting at the shifter, and I'm really glad I am. Right here, if you notice it, there is a huge kind of kink in the cable. And that's really going to mess with the operability of the cable itself. It's going to catch on stuff, so it's a good thing that we are replacing it too. And then it just becomes a matter of course, it's upside down. Let's just see if we can feed it out like this through the assembly. And it just pops out through a hole in the bottom. There's a slot that lets the cable come out. So of course, I got the new one here. You'll notice that it has a round end like this. Shifter cables have a different end on them. And I'll show you that when we replace the shifters. But then it just becomes a matter of putting it back in and feeding it through. Where you need about 3 hands. Okay. You know what? I don't mind that happening. So I don't want this cable to get kinked at all. And that is putting the cable through the shifter, or through the brake handle. We are going to be reusing the same housing. So it's just really a matter of feeding the cable through the housing. And getting that set in place. Okay, I want to talk about frustrating. I'm doing this portion of it actually for a second time because the phone ran out of storage. So I had to go offload all the videos so that I could continue. So what I've done is I put the housing back on the cable at this point. Now it's just a matter of getting everything reattached here at this point. So you have to have your noodle. It's got a sleeve in it that provides some lubrication for the cable. You can see it in there, that little pink piece in there. It's plastic, and you can feed the cable through there. And it's got some lube, as you can see from the pink on the cable now. And you just get that all the way up to the ferrule like that. Then feed it through the other side. Let's get everything in position. Get the ferrule into the correct spot. Start squeezing everything together. And we'll get everything kind of just set for right now. And then tighten this locking nut so we can at least get the cable tightened up enough for it to be in a good position. I'll pull a little bit more. And everything's held in place right now, and other than the pads needing to be turned, we've got this assembled. we just need to fine tune it once we get the wheel and back on the bike. But that'll be done after we true the wheel and replace or actually put an inner tube in it, get the tire back on, and we'll do all of that adjustment once it's back in place. Okay, so I've actually gotten the tire, it's trued, it's got a new inner tube, tires back on it, back on the bike. I've adjusted the brake pads so they're in the correct position. So now it's a matter of adjusting everything so they work right. And I can already see that this side here is hitting the tire. As a matter of fact, both sides are. So there's the first part of the adjustment. Loosening everything up, letting it slide down, and checking that it hits the rim and tightening everything back up. And I'll be able to show you better on the other side. But it is hitting the tire, which is not what we want. So, loosen, adjust, extra long cable, press the lever into the tire, and just hold it until you see that it is hitting just the rim, and then tightening it back up. That is the absolute first step on this. And it turned a little bit. And kind of moved a little bit. Not an exact science, but okay. So now I know it is hitting just the rim, not the tire. So that is definitely a good first step on that. The second is to get everything hooked back up. Ooh, correctly. So need to loosen the cable a bit. So that I can get all of the brake parts in position. And then I can Sorry for the camera angle here, but everything tightened back up a little bit. And now neither brake pad is rubbing on the wheel, on the rim, and I can see that this one is not going back into position. That's where this screw comes in. Brakes are engaged. And this one just does not want to seem to disengage. Needs a little bit more spring tension. So you pop the spring off like that. Give it a little bit of a tweak. And then pop it back in place. Oh, almost had it. There, it's back in place. And it's moving off the brake now. So now we can really get it better adjusted. One thing I like to do is you come up to the grip or the lever, and there's a barrel adjuster on here. And I like to run it out a little bit. And as you can see, it will come away from the lever. Get it about that far. Then I come back down to the brakes themselves. It can be, trying to get yourself around the cables and everything can be difficult. But I loosen it, squeeze them so that they're on the wheels. Hold it in place. And tighten this nut back up. Now it's going to move a little bit, which is fine. And they're almost making contact with the rim. But then I come back here and I set this adjustment back. And now, need a little bit more off of there. Adjusting brakes is not a once and done thing. About there. Nope. Brakes are fully engaged. Okay, saw some slack come out. A little bit more slack. See, that's the thing, is there's slack in there. With these kind of brakes, it's almost, see, now I see the wheel turning freely. Now I'm going to tighten it up. Wheel is binding a little bit. Okay. And we have brakes. Do it 3 or 4 times. That way you know it's working right. Now, there's still a little bit of binding because it's the grease that we put on there. It's got to work in a little bit. And you know what? I'm going to shoot a little bit of blaster into the moving components. Work that in a little bit. And it should help center everything. Because when everything's centered, that wheel is spinning really, really freely. And then we have brakes to engage. And the last thing is we got a lot of cable out here. We don't need that much. So we can actually take and snip part of it off. And on Amazon for about $4, you can get these cable ends. Which, for some reason, the kit did not come with. But easy enough to buy a big bag of them. You can actually get them in different colors too. I really wasn't worried about that. But I come in here and you just basically crimp it on. And I make 2 crimps. And that is very secure now. It's not coming off. And that's all it is to replacing the brakes. I'm going to do it off camera, but the rear brakes are exactly the same. So that's all there is to it. You now have brakes on your back on your mountain bike.